Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
A restaurant gets a bad review from some former employees who claim they endured a hostile work environment that included racist jokes about customers. Paula.
Lots of excitement for students for the new budget signed into law, being called historic. However, there are some students who were left behind. We're unpacking the budget for you.
And Storm Tracker 4 showing a lot of activity across southeast Michigan, bringing downpours and, again, the potential for severe weather.
So far, these systems have brought mostly just rain, but then again, we don't really want too much of that right now either.
So right off the top here at 6, let's check in with Ben.
Yeah, two sides of the coin here, guys, and it is the amount of rain that may have kept the severe stuff away because we saw multiple rounds of storms and the atmosphere really couldn't reset in between. But the other side of that coin is we had to deal with the amount of rain that brought. Look what's going on here in Sanilac and St. Clair County. You can tell just from those dark colors there on the radar how intense that rain is. It's just now starting to get to the lakeshore edge there. But there are places, especially in St. Clair County, that have picked up over 2 inches of rain, and it is still going, obviously, in those spots. Further to the south, actually, I want to jump back there and show you what's going on across the rest of the area, because we're keeping an eye on what's going on in the western sections of our viewing area where we could be seeing a little bit of activity out there south of Grand Rapids. There's not much going on. You see a couple lightning strikes out there. If that holds together, that may be the only other thing we're concerned with. But again, it just doesn't look all that healthy right now. Severe risk remains marginal, but again, it doesn't look like it's going to materialize, at least at this point. 3 of the next 4 days under rain chances, and we will talk about the amount of rain we're expecting as we head towards the weekend in just a few minutes. You can get a sneak peek of it on the Local Forecasters app. It is free in your app store by searching WDIV. Guys?
All right, Ben. Now to the breaking news from Detroit's west side. Eastbound I-96 closed near Scotton after a shooting on the freeway.
Yeah, state police say someone in another car shot a man and woman who were inside this black Chevy after an argument on a surface street. Police tell us both victims were taken to the hospital with injuries that don't appear to be life-threatening. The suspected shooter's car drove away. The freeway remains closed as detectives investigate. We will continue to follow this with updates on air and online at clickondetroit.com.
Other news at this hour, a national restaurant chain looking into several claims of a hostile work environment.
They come from former employees at Eddie Merlot's in Bloomfield Hills. Among the complaints, a manager making racist comments about guests. Larry Sproul spoke with those ex-employees and also got reaction from the company that owns the restaurant.
Several former employees here at Eddie Merlot's reached out to us about a hostile working environment and even a manager making racially insensitive comments. And tonight, they're speaking out.
Just mistreating different families, depending on, honestly, the race. I've seen it firsthand. It's been other employees who said they've seen it. I've heard things, I've seen things.
And former chef James Gaines says he had enough of working at the Eddie Merlot's location in Bloomfield Hills. That's why he's speaking out about what he claims was a hostile working environment and comments made by one of the managers.
If customers arrived at the reservation late, he would say things as of CPT. If you don't know what CPT means, that's colored people time. And by him being a maybe 58, 59-year-old Caucasian man, I don't think that was funny.
Gaines says that was the final straw. He quit last week, and he was not alone. Several employees also walked out, including Blake Dixon.
More and more patterns of disrespect coming from management towards employees, towards patrons of the restaurant. And definitely towards, people of color.
Blake Dixon, a former food runner at the restaurant, was one of the ones who also quit. He too had complaints about the same manager.
The management himself explained to an employee what hat day was, and his explanation was, oh, it's when all the old black ladies come in from church with their ugly, stupid hats. They spend a lot of money.
They reached out to corporate, and I did as well. They sent me this statement. It says, in part, Eddie Merlot's does not tolerate discrimination. The company has a clear policy against any form of discrimination or a hostile work environment. At this time, it would be inappropriate to discuss the details, but we have started an investigation into the allegations and will take appropriate action if the allegations are deemed to be true. And the former employees tell me they know they will probably receive some backlash from talking out, but they know and they believe that they are doing the right thing. We're live tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
Okay, Larry, thanks.
Now an update on I-75 in Troy following yesterday's massive tanker fire. MDOT says one lane on the northbound side of the freeway is going to reopen tonight and one southbound lane is going to reopen tomorrow. The heat severely damaged the other three northbound lanes and they have been deemed unsafe. And in fact, it could take until August to replace the section that burned. Troy police said the driver is going to be cited or face some sort of charge, though they are waiting to interview him because he is currently in the hospital.
A Detroit banquet hall is now shut down after a shooting that killed one and left 5 others hurt. Police have arrested one person in connection to the shooting. It happened on Chalmers near Outer Drive on the city's east side. Police are calling it a targeted shooting that unfortunately caught several people in the crossfire. The man who was killed is believed to be an innocent bystander. This man, who wants to be identified as just Billy, says he was the last one to see the deceased alive.
He bagged up, turned this way. Bang. He fell on the ground, jumped on him. Wake up. Wake up.
Police shut down that banquet hall just within the past hour or so after learning it has not had a proper license since the year 2013.
Let's turn to the coronavirus now. Cases starting to rise again across the United States. Cases per day have doubled over the past 3 weeks. This according to the data that's being put out on a daily basis by Johns Hopkins University. The increase coming after 4th of July gatherings, as many watchers suspected and feared. Fast-spreading Delta variant, a big part of this problem, but also a slowing rate of vaccinations. Meanwhile, Michigan reporting specifically 650 new cases and 31 more deaths. But remember, that is now a total over the past 4 days. Michigan's vaccine rate still sticking right around the 62%. Right now, it's up to 62.4%. Tomorrow, the state's going to announce the first round of $50,000 winners in what's become known as Michigan's vaccine sweepstakes.
Spirits were high today near Grand Rapids as Governor Whitmer signed the state's $17.1 billion K-12 budget into law. The budget wipes out the per-pupil funding gap between districts and expands important preschool and reading programs. But as our Paula Totman reports, some students are getting less help than the others.
The 21-22 budget, being called historic, brings more parity to per-pupil funding, which is wildly different depending on the district. It also allows for the hiring of more teachers to reduce class size, parapros to help teachers, software upgrades to reach students, remedial materials to close the COVID learning loss. So in the Wayne Westland district, for instance, at least 15% of students are testing below grade level for math skills because it was just hard to teach and hard to grasp in some remote settings. Also now on the books and in the black, infrastructure, retro and future fitting to address those safety issues the pandemic brought to the fore.
I think it's going to also help with the safety and the environment of our schools. We've allocated a lot of the money to HVAC and things like that are going to make the air cleaner.
But the Michigan budget and the federal government in general have largely left out special needs students who tend to suffer more in general, amplified that suffering during the pandemic.
Some of them have health compromised systems. Some of them clearly miss that in-person day-to-day interaction with another adult. And so we know there's going to be increased needs there. And we would hope that the state would continue to recognize that and continue to find ways to fund those special education students so that we can meet their needs and help them be successful in school and prepare for life after high school.
Dr. Steve Matthews, the superintendent of the Novi School District, also sits in a national leadership position of the American Association of School Administrators, currently meeting in Washington, D.C. And the needs of special needs is actually a big topic at the conference today.
IDEA funding, which is funding for special education students. The federal government has promised that they would fund that at 40%, and they've never come close to funding special education students at 40%. There is some funding to address that, but certainly a lot of that funding comes from the federal level, and so there has to be a connection between what happens in the state and what happens at the federal level.
Again, a lot of excitement over this budget and what it does for students. However, a lot of administrators I'm talking to are saying, again, this is the beginning. It is not the end. There is still a lot more work to do, especially for disabled students. Paula Tutman, Local 4.
All right, Paula. Does a mayor need to appear in public in order to do the job? That's the big question in Dearborn right now. Mayor Jack Riley says he is battling a health issue and that others in his circle will be handling public speaking on his behalf. Defender Sean Lay has a look at how that's going over in the community. Sean?
Well, first things first, Mayor O'Reilly, he's asking for privacy as he battles a personal health issue. We, of course, respect that privacy. But there are many raising the question in Dearborn that if the mayor cannot do the job, the city charter says he should not be mayor anymore.
The mayor has been he's been absent from public life.
Osama Siblani of the Arab American News says his paper has endorsed Dearborn Mayor Jack O'Reilly in the past. But for more than a year now, he's been asking why the mayor has not spoken to residents in public. He says the mayor's absence dates back to when COVID first hit.
The mayor was nowhere to be found.
More recently, Mayor O'Reilly did not attend when President Biden visited Ford. People were frustrated that they didn't hear from the mayor. When 12,000 homes flooded days ago, he was at a FEMA event but did not speak. A few days ago, a statement from the mayor announcing he is dealing with a non-specified health issue, but says he is in the office every day, but wrote he has delegated public speaking to others in his administration from now on, stating, quote, "This will now be the regular practice moving forward." Security at Dearborn City Hall would not allow us to go to the mayor's office to see if he is there working. The mayor is asking for privacy about his health. Siblani says he respects the mayor's privacy, but also believes if Mayor O'Reilly can't fulfill his duties, the city charter mandates that the city council act.
If he is absent and he's not doing the work that he's supposed to do, then the council should move to remove the mayor.
We asked Dearborn City Council President Susan DeBaccia about this entire situation. Her only comment was a lengthy statement. We'll put it all on clickondetroit.com, but she says that she wishes Mayor O'Reilly and his wife and pray for the best as they navigate through his health issue. Sean Lay, Local 4.
Yeah, we're wishing him the best as well.
Indeed. All right. Well, ahead here at 6. Have you heard of the Delta 8 THC?
An unregulated marijuana product for sale at places like gas stations, convenience stores, and it's also the target of a new state crackdown.